Day 162 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again. Another day, another LeetCode problem, but you already knew we would be here. Why? Because we're here every day and we're going to keep being here every day until there's no more LeetCode problems to do. That's why this is what we do, y'all. We are programmers. We work, we get up, we work out, and then we go program, y'all. That's what we do. That's the life we live. That's just how it is. We got to wrap our mind around it because we have a long way to go. It's the programming journey is so long and there's so many different pieces and parts to it. You never know when it's going to end. All you can really know is it's going to be a long time until it's over, and it will never really be over. You can never stop learning. There's always something new in programming that you can learn that you didn't learn before, and in that case, it's never over. It's never over, y'all. The journey's never over. We just have to make sure that we don't give up and we keep pushing through and keep striving to be better and better and be the best programmers we can be. Even if we feel like we know it all already, there's something else we can do to keep going to increase our knowledge and make us even better. So that's all we have to do. We just have to make sure that we're a better programmer today than we were yesterday. And one way we can do that is we're just going to keep doing LeetCode problems every day. So before we get started with the problem today, don't forget, bring a mouse right over here and click that subscribe button for me, y'all. Then after you click that subscribe button, go ahead and smash that like button for me, y'all. Then after you smash that like button, I'm calling all of my bankers. I repeat, all of my bankers to the comment section right now. I need y'all to drop 2 bank emojis in the comment section so we could run up this engagement and we could push this content out to a broader audience, y'all. As the Swift community members, it's up to us to help the Swift community to grow. And one way we can do that is to share this content, y'all. So y'all support is appreciated. Now, let's get started. And today we have question number 496. Next greater element 1. The difficulty level is easy, so you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as well because we're all here trying to learn something. So let's see what the question says. It says the next greater element of some element x in an array is the first greater element that is to the right of x in the same array. You are given the 2 distinct zero-index integer arrays, nums1 and nums2, where nums1 is a subset of nums2. For each 0 is less than or equal to I, and I is less than nums1 dot length, find the index j such that nums1i is equal to nums2 of j, and determine the next greater element of nums2j in nums2. If there is no next greater element, then the answer for the query is -1. Return an array ands of length nums1.length such that ands I is the next greater element as described above. So I understand that can be a little confusing as to what they're asking us to do. So let's get into the example so we can see. In example 1, we have the input nums1 equals an array of integers 4, 1, and 2. Nums2 is also an array of integers 1, 3, 4, and 2, right? The output is -1, 3, and -1. That is because, let's look at the explanation. The greater element for each value of nums1 is as follows. 4 is underlined in nums2. There is no greater element, so the answer is -1. So we're looking at nums1. We're going to iterate through nums1. We're starting with 4, right? So we see 4 in nums1. We come over to nums2 and we see 4 as well. Now, it says up here, the next greatest element of some element x in an array is the first greater element that is to the right of x in the same array. So this is what we're looking at right here. This is the key point right here. The first greater element that is to the right of x in the same array, right? So we're working with 4. Boom, we see 4. We come over here, we see 4 over here. Now we're looking for the first greater element that is to the right of 4. There is no element greater than 4 to the right of 4, so we return -1, right? It says if there is no next greater element, then the answer for the query is -1, right? So and the explanation says there is no greater element, so the answer is -1 because we're working with 4. We come to 4 over here. We go to the right of 4, which is 2, but 2 is less than 4. So it's not greater than 4. So we return a -1 in the place where the 4 was. Then we're going to come down here. We're going to keep iterating through. Now we're working with 1. We're looking at this part of the example. 1 is underlined in nums2. the next greater element is 3. That works by, this is how it works. So we already did 4. Now we're doing 1. So we have a 1 right here. We come over here. Okay, we found 1. 1 is right here. We look to the right. Remember, to the right of x in the same array. So we look to the right of 1. When we look to the right of 1, that's 3. 1 is greater than 3, so the next greater element will be 3. So we put a 3 right here for 1, right? We put a 3 right here where the 1 was because the next greater element would be 3. That's where the 3 comes from. Boom. So then we keep iterating through. Now we're working with 2. Now we're on 2. So we come over here to nums 2. We find 2. There, we look to the right. There's nothing there to the right, right? So there is no next greater element for 2. So we just return a -1. And that's how we got -1, 3, -1. Right? It says 2 is underlined in nums 2. There is no next greater element, so the answer is -1. So that's how we got this output in example 1. Let's move on to example 2, just in case that didn't really make sense for some people. We could try to make it make sense with example 2. So in example 2, we have the input nums 1 is an array of integers 2 and 4, and nums 2 is an array of integers 1, 2, 3, and 4. The output is 3 and -1, right? So let's look at the explanation. The greater element for each value of nums 1 is as follows. So 2 is underlined in nums 2. The next greater element is 3. So we're looking at nums 1. First one we're iterating through is we see 2. Boom. So we come over to nums 2. We find the 2. The 2 is right here. Then remember, we go to the right. So we go to the right of 2, and that's a 3. 3 is greater than 2, so we append 3 in the place of 2, right, in nums 1. So we put a 3 right here. That's the next greatest element. Then we come over. We already did 2. We found the next greatest element is 3. So now we coming over. We're going to do 4. So we do 4. We come over here. We find 4. We look to the right of 4. There is no next greater element. It does not exist. And when there is no next greater element, like it says right here, then the answer is -1. And since we look to the right of 4, there's nothing there, so we return a -1 in the place of the 4, and that's why the output is 3, -1. And that's the last example. So now that we understand the question, let's get into the fun part, the actual code, y'all. And we get to use some hash maps and dictionaries, so get excited about that. We're in the middle of our LeetCode. We're doing a month of easy hash table problems, and this is one of them. So let's get into it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to declare a variable called res. We're going to set that equal to an array of integers, and we're going to come outside of that, and we are going to initialize it with parentheses like so. Then we're going to come down underneath that. We're going to declare a variable called dict. Do the colons, open up the square brackets, int, colon, int. Then we're going to say equals, square brackets, equals square brackets, colon, square brackets. So we're going to declare the variable dictionary. It's going to be int. It's going to be a dictionary of integers, and we're going to initialize it with a blank dictionary. Then we're going to come down here. We're going to say for num and nums 1. What we're going to do is we are going to say dict num is equal square bracket num. So we're going to say dict, open up the square brackets, num. Then we're going to say equals -1. Then we're going to come down here and we're going to say for I in 0 up to nums2.count, open up the square bracket, if dict, open up the square bracket, nums2 of I. So we're going to put the I inside the square brackets. We're going to come outside all of those square brackets, and we're going to say exclamation point equals. So it's not equal to nil. Open up the brackets. We're going to say dict, open up the square brackets, nums2, open up some more square brackets of I, put the I in the middle. Then we're going to say, come outside that, and we're going to say equals I. Then we're going to come outside of that for loop. We're going to come down here. We're going to say for num and nums 1, open up the brackets. We are going to say let I equal dict, open up the square brackets, num. We're going to come outside of those square brackets. We're going to say question mark, 0 for the default value. Then we're just going to come down here. We're going to say var large equals -1. Then we're going to come underneath that and we are going to say for j and I up to nums2 dot count. What we're going to do is open up the brackets. We're going to say let num2 equal nums2 square brackets j. We're going to come underneath that and we're going to say if num2 is less than num, open up the brackets. We're going to say large equals num2. Then we're going to come underneath that and we are going to say break. Then we're going to come all the way underneath that for loop and we are going to say res.append, open up the parentheses, large. Then we're going to come underneath that or come right here and we're going to say return res, y'all. Now I know that was a little lengthy bit of code, but it wasn't that lengthy. It was just a few for loops. So let's run it. See, make sure it runs like it's supposed to run. Make sure it runs properly. Okay, so we got an error. Cannot find num2 in scope. So that should be nums2. Sorry about that, y'all. Not num2, nums2. Let's run it again. Let's see. And it's accepted, y'all. So let's submit it and make sure it stays submitted. Let's see. Fingers crossed. And there it is, y'all. 12 milliseconds beats 60.58% of users with Swift. That's what I like to see. That's not too bad at all, y'all. So get one more look at the code, y'all. Excuse me. Get one more look at the code. I know it's a lot. So get one more look at it before we go. And I hope to see y'all. I hope y'all learned something today. And I hope to see y'all tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.